Hi guys, how you doing, and welcome to another Warlord Wednesday. And today I bring you this right here. Now, if you've been following my boards, my tiles I should say, if you've been following the progress of the tiles, you would have noticed that this is the section that leads off from the warehouse tile. So basically I cut the tile in half. Well, not quite in half, one side's a little bit longer than the other. And then there's a bridge section that fits in here that has the follow on from the train track that leads past the warehouse and up the side of the board. So the good news is that we're going to be expanding the board out that way, over there. So it'll be 2 more tiles that way and then 2 more tiles that way. So you're going to have another extra 4 foot put on the board, which is quite exciting. And it's going to have a load of buildings. So we're going to go in from the city into some newer, not so damaged buildings and some damaged buildings. Which is going to be quite cool. So what are we doing today? Well, today we're looking at this. Now, I've been asked by people if I could show how I put things together and how I think about things when I'm producing a board or creating a board. So I thought I'd do this for you because there's tons of great stuff out there that you can get to make your board look that more exciting. Now, the theme of this is obviously it's the other side. There's water in between with a train bridge that goes there. I wanted an installation piece so we could have rubble and stuff all the way around it. Now I've got rid of the artillery piece that's going in there, and I'm going to be replacing it, are you ready for this, with one of these. Now it's a bit messy because I've just opened it up to make sure it fits. It's the Africa Corp, flak 38. So I wanted a flak in there because it kind of looks cool, because you can imagine like anti-air fitted into this position here from where aircrafts are trying to bomb the tracks and stuff like that. So it kind of made sense to put it in there. Now I didn't want to put any buildings on this side because I wanted to focus on things like areas where we can have maybe tank positions or artillery pieces put into play, so they can fire across the river, or even if it's just troops hidden behind the wall to fire as well, which is quite cool because it leads us through here around this corner and up the tracks across the bridge. So that's what I was looking at. Now I know Warlord are bringing out these lovely little bits that you can get. If I bring this to the camera so we can focus on that. Thank you very much. So basically this is like a huge concrete block that's put into the ground and a gun's fitted into it, and it basically it's just amazing. It's just literally a concrete block where they fire from, and I'm kind of shocked by that. I didn't even know about these, but basically you've got to think about it like a tank turret basically, and they just used to fit in like a MMG and just fire basically, which is just amazing. And they've also got like things like sandbags. So you've got these lovely little sandbags that you can put into play. Now I'm not gluing these onto the table because it's nice just to have them, you know, like that, and you can imagine an artillery piece in there. So what I thought we would also do is look at the other bits and pieces that we can add to it. I kind of like the idea of using tank obstacles as well. It's a little bit dusty because it's been sitting on my shelf for a while, and it's really nice that they do with this a variation of different styles, and they also do barbed wire as well. The barbed wire is really important, I think, in games, because it just gives you the idea, especially if it's all rusted like that, it looks so cool. It just gives you the idea that there's bits on here that are going to be difficult for your troops to get through, and this is why you need your engineers just to break through. So I'm kind of experimenting with stuff at the moment just to make the board look that little bit more exciting and that little bit more fun. So I think in the next week or so what we're going to do is we're going to work on this tile section here, and then we're going to sort of get it to a standard where we're really happy, and in each video we'll just keep bringing stuff to the table. How's that? I think that sounds really cool. So basically what I've done here now is just base coated. So I've got a base coat grey. Now for this I've just mixed up a very cheap black and a white to create the colour. It's Crawford and black acrylic paints that I've used. They're really lovely things. You can buy really lovely paints. You can buy them from the art shops. They're around about, I think they're around about £2 something, £3 maybe. I'm not too sure, but you mix them together and you can get the kind of grey that you want. Plus you can just thin it down a little bit to add water to it, just so it's not so thick. but don't put too much water in there because it'll become too watery and it just won't work. Now, these are the resin roads built by Dread Lunn at Solvent Abuse. Now, these are absolutely gorgeous, so if you get a chance and if you're after roads, go check him out because he does sell them and they're really, really nice. Now, this is from Warlord. This is an artillery installation. I love this because it's got all the debris around the side of it and you can just add to it by adding your own. Now, I've used a PVA water mix. Now, what I generally do is I put the sand down first and then I inject using a syringe over the top so the glue soaks into the water. I leave that for a day or two just to settle, then I go over the top with a thick glue paste, PVA paste, and just paint it on. Now, the kind of PVA I like to use is Builder's PVA for plaster walls because it dries really solid, as you can see. And that, oh, that hurt. Really solid, as you can see, and it really works really, really well. And I've used craters because the idea is that I can imagine a plane flying over just dropping bombs to try and take that out, and also hitting the buildings that's just there. This section here is literally the other section that you've seen me do in the last video with the houses. So it butts onto that side there. So you'll get the wall section just there, and then the house is round about here. And then we've got another bridge that side. So there's two bridges built onto this board already, which is kind of cool. What I like about creating my own boards is that you get a sense of achievement from it, and you also get a sense of like proportion, and you know, you can put what you want into it, and I always think what you put into it is what you get out of it at the end of the day. If you want to do a half-assed job, you can do, but if you really want to go to town on it, you can build the most amazing things. And I'm lucky to say I've seen some beautiful boards starting to appear online, built by people that make me look like a caveman looking at a hologram. So that's always nice. So what have we got here? Well, we want our brickwork going along here. Now you can buy plastic card that's got a brickwork pattern in the inside on the what should I say, moulded into it, I should say. And that's really nice because what we're going to do is, once all this is finished, we're going to create a tide line, or a number of tide lines that just go across and create some nice sort of staining effects coming down as well. And don't forget, there's always bits of plants and stuff growing out the side here that just add to it. Again, I've just base coated our wall sections. Now these you can get from Warlord. I've just created I've just sort of chopped them up here and there just so they fit in nicely. I don't mind if one's a little bit higher than the other because you often get that when you look at walls. They're not always flush, and I kind of like the fact that obviously there's been some explosions, so they've been knocked out slightly. Now I just used a little bit of plastic here. Excuse me, a little bit of plastic here just so the bridge can fit on it. It's not straight, but it's not going to make too much of a problem when I come to rest the bridge on it, because the other side will hold it properly into play. Okay, so the next step is to wash this. For this I use an airbrush because I just want a fine coat over the top which I can wipe away. And what that'll do is that'll fill in the gaps of these beautiful, beautiful roads that have been created. It will darken down this and just basically mute everything so it's all layered properly. You've got to think about this as when you're rendering images and you have to layer images on top of each other to create the thing that you're looking for. So that's how I do it, and then I wash it, and then I start highlighting, and then I start adding my weathering effects into it. So I'm going to wash this board. I'm going to see you in a second. Hi guys, and welcome back. So here we are, we finished our airbrushing. Now you don't necessarily have to use an airbrush, you can just use a normal brush. Okay, so don't be put off by it. It's not important. The idea is that why I've used an airbrush is mostly just for the purposes of this video, because I need to get it done quickly so I can move on and show you the next stage. Okay, so what we're going to do is we've looked at the board, this tile here. We've added in our shadow and stuff by using our washes, so you can see that more around this area around here, and it sort of goes round near where the train tracks are and stuff like that. We've also wash down this as well, which is quite nice because it gives us that stain, and we've done the bricks as well, so the gaps in the bricks are in there as well. Now I'm not too fussed about that at the moment. You can see like a line going across. It's not really important because we're going to be weathering this down anyway, so don't worry about that. Okay, that wall's still drying because I forgot to paint it. So at the moment, that needs to be grey, but we can come back to that. So the next step here is literally to add glue all the way around. Okay, and then we're going to add our grass to it. But before we do that, we need to just highlight some of these bricks and just bring them out and make them a little bit more standy outy. There you go, that's a good word to use. We're going to standy outy the bricks with a bit of red and some grey and stuff like that, just to make them stand out a bit. So I'm going to see you guys in a second. Howdy guys, and welcome back. Okay, so I've gone around, I've highlighted the bricks, and I've also done the wall as well. Now what I haven't done is clean this up yet, because I want to leave that till last. Because that's an easy thing to do, and it's just highlighting and weathering on that. But what I want to do is I wanted to concentrate on all the stones and bits of rubble and stuff like that, so it just stands out a little bit. Now obviously I'm going to be hitting that with some weathering powders, or not some weathering powders, some weathering liquids. For that I'm going to be using the MIG stuff, and I just want to basically create some earth type colours in there, because we've got a lovely brown. Now the brown that I've used is a Dulux weather paint that you paint the outsides of your buildings with. It's chocolate brown, and I use that for all my ground stuff because it's a masonry paint, so it's really good, and it's a nice strong paint, grips to the board really well, and it fills in all the gaps and stuff. And now I do add a little bit of water when I'm painting it on, because otherwise it's a little bit stodgy. So you need to just wet it down just a little bit, but it works really well, and it gives that lovely effect, especially when the grass is laid on the top. So now I'm going to hit this with some weathering liquids, and we're just going to dirty all this down, make it a bit more earthy, and then let it dry, and then we're going to apply our grass. So guys, I'm going to see you in a second. Howdy guys, how you doing, and welcome back. So what we've done is we've added our weathering liquid, and you can see it's still kind of drying because it's a little bit glossy at the moment. But what we're going to do is, while that's doing, we're going to add our PVA. Now, as I did say before, PVA that I like to use is this stuff just here. It's fantastic stuff, but you can use any builder's PVA, or any PVA to be fair. I only go for that one because it's like super strong, and it dries quite quickly, which is kind of nice. Now what we're going to do is we're just going to put some PVA down on here, and then we're going to sprinkle grass. Now I tend to use this stuff. You can find this all over the place. I think this is a German company, to be fair, and it's really, I found this stuff to be really cool. So I'm going to sprinkle that on, and then what I tend to do is I leave it to dry, and then I add some more, and I use a syringe just to squirt a mix of PVA water over the top. When that dries, I just get the hoover out and just get rid of the excess sort of thing. Okay, so I'm going to see you guys in a second. Hi guys, how you doing? And here we have our grass laid out. Now we're going to be coming back to this in the next video, where we're going to be doing some other bits and pieces just to bring this out. Now first of all, you're going to say, well, hey, look at this, the grass doesn't look that perfect, it looks a bit uniform the way it's done like that. Well, we haven't finished yet, we've still got quite a bit to do to it and a bit more to add to it. So I'm going to leave you here with this. Guys, you be good, you be safe, that's you, and have a fantastic week until I see you next week. Take care.